Hello and welcome to A Homespun House. My name is Molly and I am the maker behind A Homespun House Yarns, the yarn dyer, the creator, the person who comes up with the ideas. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you today about everything that I have been making for knitting and yarn dyeing and just makes for myself, my family, and a homespun house. Today, the episode will be pretty much the same as normal, but a little bit different. My sister will be a guest at the end of the show, and we will be talking about overdose awareness. Overdose Awareness Day is this upcoming Saturday, and we would like to do a fundraiser for overdose awareness and just bringing awareness to what that is and what that means. So to kick off the episode, I wanted to show you something that I finished, which is really exciting. So I think only a week ago, I began knitting on the Greenline Cowl by Tammy Gore, which I spoke a little bit about in the last episode and mentioned that she is definitely becoming one of my favorite knitwear designers. Tammy designs a lot of accessories. This is not by Tammy Gore. This is the Birds of a Feather shawl. This is by Andrea Mowry, and this is just such a beautiful, cozy shawl, which includes a fingering weight yarn and then a mohair yarn. So this is knit up in our Don't Kill My Vibe colorway, and then our whale belly mohair. So kits for this exact kit are currently in the shop, and I just love it. So back to the Greenline Cowl. I am knitting this pattern by Tammy Gore. And I just mentioned that it was one of my favorite patterns, or she's becoming one of my favorite pattern designers. And the reason for that is I've only knit two of her patterns. I've knit her color craze shawl, which I don't have with me because we were just away up north having the most fantastic time. We've decided that we're going to go for my birthday weekend to the same exact place, rent a cabin with a cozy wood stove inside, and we'll spend 3 days there. And so I brought the color craze shawl along with me, and so that is in my bedroom right now. I didn't even think that I would bring it with me because I've shown it so many times. It's one of my favorite pieces. So I had so much fun knitting on this color craze shawl by Tammy Gore that the Grainline was the same exact thing. I enjoyed knitting on it so much. It was something that made me want to knit and made me want to keep knitting when I picked up my knitting. So let me show you what this looks like. It's still a teeny bit damp. I finished it yesterday evening. I washed it, rinsed it, soaked it, and then put it in my spin dryer, which I have because I'm a yarn dyer, and I've laid it out to dry. I haven't blocked it as far as blocking mats go or pins. I don't have any of those things. I've never ever used them. I think they would be very, very handy for shawls, especially with any sort of lace, picot edging, and things like that. So Amber from Maker's Haven and I did a read and knit along, which was really fun for her book, Like a Dream. It was a novella. It's a little over 100 pages, and it was such a very fun and light read. And she sent along a yarn box with this fun little prompt. And it told you when you were supposed to maybe open up your gifts and then share them on Instagram. And it came with 3 skeins of yarn. So this is where the shawl begins. It came with this colorway, this light one with the pink flecks, this peachy one, and then this mauve toned one. So I added the mini skeins in here, this one here, and then this darker one, which you see for the color work. The story has some sad moments in it. I'm not going to share exactly what all happens in the story, just because I don't know who has finished reading it and who is still reading it, but there are some sad moments. And so I wanted to add those blues into the shawl, into the cowl, and then take them out of there because there is a great moment of happiness at the end. So we get our pretty lightness, the blues in there. I call some of those Graham. He's a great person, but he does create some sadness and confusion in the story. So, and then the pretty lace at the bottom. So this was such a fun knit. The lace, it wasn't like it was something where you knew what was coming in the next row, but each round was definitely memorizable once you maybe knit 2 repeats of it. And I used stitch markers for my lace so that I knew there was no way that I would be messing this up. And I love this. It is knit on gold stellina yarn, all of it. The minis that I used are from Maker's Haven. There were some that I got for an advent calendar one year. This will be my 3rd year doing the Maker's Haven advent calendar. They're so much fun. And so yeah, this is just drying on my table right now, and I'm enjoying it. It looks like it's very long when you look at a cowl like that, but it's not. I put it on yesterday evening when I finished it. It's the perfect circumference, and it just squishes up so that it is nice, warm, cozy. The fingering weight yarn on the gold stellina is so luscious. I think this is a cowl that you could knit on really any base and it would be wonderful. And a fingering weight yarn definitely, which is what it calls for. So I've really enjoyed that. And since I've been knitting on it, I've had a lot of people asking me to put up kits in the shop for the Greenline Cowl by Tammy Gore. So I've done just that, and these are in the shop right now. I currently have this kit up in the shop. This is our Froot Loops Kit for the Greenline Cowl. You need 1 skein of 100 gram yarn and 3 mini skeins. So this is kind of the brighter of the 3 sets that I've put together. And then we have our Don't Kill My Vibe set. This is that colorway that I have in my Birds of a Feather shawl. So this includes Don't Kill My Vibe, Purple People Eater, Barley, and then Silver. So this one's a little bit more subdued, jewel toned, really pretty. And then the 3rd kit that I popped up in the shop is our Pygmy Puff Kit. And this includes Pygmy Puff, Scandinavia, Jello, and again, Purple People Eater. So these are the 4 sets. Very different, and I hope that you guys love all of them. These won't be in the shop for too long. I'll probably keep them in for 2 weeks or something like that. So that would be something that isn't offered as a kit all year round. I do have a bunch of mini sets that I wanted to share with you guys because I know there's a lot of interest in the Color Craze shawl, and the way that Tammy has designed the Color Craze shawl is not at all the way that I knit my Color Craze shawl. I used 2 skeins of 100 gram weight yarn, and then I used a 10 gram minis set, which is so much fun. That's one of the things that made the shawl fly by. Anytime Tammy asked for a contrasting color in that shawl, I just kind of went down my package. I don't even have a Petals mini set, which is the one that I used, but I can share with you guys this one, for example. I just went down in a row of my mini set and used the mini until it was finished. And then I added the next mini, or magic knotted the next mini if I needed to add it. So it was very, very simple. And I have currently 5 10 gram mini sets in the shop. If you want to knit a Color Craze shawl, or if you want to use these for a pair of socks, it would definitely be enough. Or, you know, if you want to use them for any sort of shawl, any sort of hat, they're so much fun. They make knitting just fly by. They're so fantastic and exciting for knitting. So this one is our Bloomin' mini set. This one I will not be dyeing again, if even until next spring. So there are a handful of these in the shop. And then I have our Old School minis set. We have so many different 100 gram skeins of yarn that you could pair all of these with. And if you're having trouble when you're looking on the website, again, just send me an email. I'm happy to pair yarns with you. So this is the old school mini set. Here we have our rustic minis. This would look great with 3 Libras. I don't have a skein of that with me. And then we have our Equinox. This is a one-of-a-kind mini set. It comes with this gorgeous, you can see it even now, glow-in-the-dark Luna Moon. Also, how cool was it seeing that black hole? Amazing. All right, so we have one more mini set that I'm offering in the shop. This is completely limited time, and this is our Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 1 minis pack. So this is the premiere episode, and I hope that you guys love this set. So we have Will and Elle. This is this colorway here. You're going to have to look at the website if you want a better picture, because I know that these let off quite a bit of a reflection. Will and Elle. We have Can't Fight This Feeling. Susie. Not If You Understand. And I think this one is Motel 6. This one right here. This one just fits Stranger Things perfectly anyway. Motel 6 / Stranger Things. So that is a limited time set. I won't be dyeing it again. And I hope that you guys love that. What have I been knitting on? I finished the Greenline Cowl, and then I have been knitting on 2 more things since then. 2 of our Halloween colorways are currently in the shop, which is really exciting. Right now I am knitting on our Goblin Dance socks. These are in the shop currently as well, this skein of yarn. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm knitting on size 0 needles, and I am knitting a US size 8, like I mentioned. And right now I'm doing the decreases for the toe. I thought that I would finish these last night. I was knitting on them in the evening. Robert was away with our neighbor hanging out, and then my eldest daughter woke up and wanted me to come into bed and snuggle with her. So I put these away and went in bed with her for a little bit. So these have been a lot of fun to knit on. I will probably have extra yarn. I don't know what I'm going to do with that extra yarn. I'm having a lot of leftovers, 50 gram, 40 gram leftovers from just projects that I have been working on out of quite a bit of a Homespun House yarn. So I'm thinking sometime this week, or maybe even in the next episode, I might do a little de-stash where you buy all of someone can buy a bag with a good deal of all of the leftovers of my projects that I've been working on. The next project, and the only other project that I am working on, is my Marley Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And this is what I took with me while we were away at our cabin up north. And I haven't knit that much on it. I think I showed it 2 weeks ago. I forgot to show it on last week's episode, but I didn't make too much progress since then. So this is my progress keeper. I have my little Luna Moon on here. It's a really pretty one, and it pairs well with a lot of my projects because I knit with a lot of pink. It has pink, purple, blue, and teal, and then of course some golds in there. And I don't know if I mentioned, but it does glow in the dark, which is a really fun detail. It's made by Sucre Miniatures, and that also is a limited charm, so you can get that with the Equinox set. So yeah, I'm knitting this out of, this side is Unicorn Dust. It's really beautiful pale oatmeal colored yarn with all of these really bright flecks. And then I'm knitting the other side with Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. I am using our 100% Superwash Merino singles, and I am enjoying this so much. It's a worsted spun single, so it's very light, very airy, and very fluffy. I'm really enjoying this. Really enjoying knitting this. really easy to work on, and it's so much fun. I think I talked about this before, but I'm going to knit until this yarn is completely gone, and then I'm going to add, I have no idea what sort of a color to the bottom as a fun contrast. So that will be just garter stitch, and this will be a huge, cozy, massive shawl. And I love that it's so different. This side is so bright and vibrant, and then this side here is lighter. And that's the great thing about brioche, is you have a shawl that you can wear in reverse ways depending upon what you're wearing, what you're feeling, what you're into. So I really like that. And in this little basket, I guess I could show you the baskets that I have everything in. This is my market basket. This is just kind of the normal size of market basket. I think we probably have about 5 of these in the shop right now. And then we have our mini market baskets. There are maybe 3 of these left in the shop, I'm not sure. And then here we have our shopping totes. This is what I brought all of my yarn down here in. This is mine. This one is not for sale. I love this one. There are only a handful of these in the shop. The mini totes that I showed last week are completely sold out. I don't know when I will be restocking the shop with market baskets. They're all handmade in Ghana. They're a very, very limited supply. So when I do order them, I order a lot of them because I know that I won't be getting them for quite a while. I'm imagining it could be a month before I have a new shipment of market baskets. So for those of you who are waiting, I'm sorry, but I do hope that you understand that they are handmade. They take a long time to be made. And yeah, that's all that I can say about that. I try to order as many as we can, and I'm happy to be able to offer it to you guys and to be able to support the women who are making that, to support their families. So I am happy that we had some time to chat. I want to cast on another pair of socks sometime this week. I don't know if they're going to be for my youngest daughter or if I'm going to be casting on a pair of socks for Robert. I probably should do that. Robert is my husband, and usually for St. Nick's Day, which is December 6th, I know it's a while away, but my husband has a size 14-foot men's. I think that's a 46 European, and his socks take a really long time to knit. He likes them knit in cashmere yarn. We have a base here that is 70-10-20, so 20% cashmere and 70% superwash merino, 10% nylon. And that is his favorite for his socks. So I haven't at all decided what colorway I'm going to be knitting them on. He's also requested that I knit him a very bulky, oversized cardigan. Robert is almost 6'5", and he wants an oversized cardigan. I'm not even sure how to respond to that, but he wants it. I have some, I think, Aran weight tweed yarn that I think I'm going to dye up for him. We haven't decided on a colorway yet. I told him that we'd head down into the studio today to look at the yarn, look at all of the different colorways, and see what he wants dyed up for his cardigan. We also have to choose a pattern. We have no idea. I don't know if he wants cabled. I think he might want color work, or he might just want one color of a cardigan. He mentioned doing something faded. He thought that seems like it would be a really fun idea to have a cardigan that was faded. So we'll see about that. But it will definitely be fun to work on and knit, and I'm happy that he is choosing a larger yarn. The turtle doves are going crazy in my front yard, so this is why I keep looking over here. They are distracting me. They're looking less plump than normal. The turtle doves. What are your thoughts on turtle doves for those of you who like birds? Are they not hilarious? I don't know, I definitely think they're one of the more funny birds. I just started to briefly talk about the base of our cashmere yarn. That's a yarn that I was purchasing when I was living in Germany, along with my singles base and my 100% non-superwash base. And I have decided to stop buying my yarn from the American company that I have been purchasing my yarn from. And I am going to buy all of my yarn from the same company that I was purchasing my yarn in Germany. So it's still the same blend of yarn, a 75-25 like our soft sock, and 80-20 like our plum merino. And our gold stellina will be the only base that I'm still buying from the company that I was purchasing from before. So as you are buying from a homespun house, the bases will be changing. They will still say plum merino and soft sock, but it will arrive probably looking and feeling a bit different. A lot of these yarns are spun worsted. They're a lot higher quality, I think. I don't know why I didn't make this change sooner, but I definitely came to a conclusion that I don't want to purchase this yarn from this company anymore. It's wonderful yarn. It's a company that most hand dyers are buying their yarn from. And I really, really wanted to buy something different and something that I really have researched into. And I feel great about their ethics. I feel great about their handling of animals. I feel great about the yarn itself. This is a yarn that has arrived. I've started dyeing on it. I am so excited and filled with just inspiration from getting this yarn, from touching this yarn, from seeing this yarn. The quality of the merino that is being used is so fantastic. As I mentioned, I love that a lot of it is worsted spun, so my plump merino is even a little bit more plump than the other one. It's still fingering weight yarn. The soft sock is still fingering weight yarn. But the quality, I'm really excited for you guys to get it, for you guys to have it in your hands, for the old supplier's yarn to kind of come out of the shop, and all of the new yarns on all of the new bases to pour into the shop. And I hope that you guys love it as much as I do. I have no plans of turning back and of buying from the American supplier that I've been using. So I hope that you guys love it. The new clubs, all of the clubs that will be coming out, if they're dyed on 100 gram skeins, will be dyed on all of this new yarn. So those of you who are club members will definitely be seeing it. There is an August yarn club which will be shipping out. That will be dyed, I think, on the old yarn, and then September's yarn will be dyed on the new base. So memberships for that are currently in the shop. And yeah, sign up if you'd like to try out the new yarn. There are 100 gram skein options available, and then sock sets available for the September yarn club. We do have a really fun club in the shop right now. They are Disney inspired mini skeins. So it is based upon the 11 princesses in the photograph on the website. These are going to be beautiful. I hope those of you who are signing up love your mini skeins, love your yarn. I'm so excited about this club. It's such a fun, playful one, and I hope you guys love it. I really, really, really hope that you guys love it. As always, we have advents in the shop. Those will be closing sometime soon, as they will be shipping out in November. And I can hear my sister coming up the stairs now, and I hope that you enjoy our chat together. So this is my sister, Amy.
Hello.
Yep.
Hi,
She moved in with us 2 months ago?
The beginning of July.
Yeah, yep. And she now works for a homespun house.
I do.
In place of my mom.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we thought that today would be a good time to have Amy on the episode to talk with you guys about overdose awareness. It's something that I talked about super briefly for any of you who follow me on Instagram last year at this time. So it would be Saturday, do you know the date?
Oh,
31st.
Sure. Yeah, the 31st. It's the 31st.
Yeah, the 31st, that's Katie's birthday. Katie's birthday. So yeah, Saturday the 31st.
Is Overdose Awareness Day.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to be doing is dyeing up a yarn sometime this week, right?
Yeah, yep.
Selling it in the shop. And I guess what our purpose is to raise awareness regarding addiction, overdose specifically, but just like to reduce a lot of the stigma around it for addicts themselves or addiction in general, and just to kind of create a conversation, I guess.
Yeah,
Addiction is becoming, I don't know if it's becoming more prevalent, but it's becoming more talked about. And that's because of the alarming number of overdoses that occur on any basis, daily, weekly, monthly. It's staggering. I've known a number of people who have died from drug overdoses. I myself am a drug addict. I've been addicted to drugs for like 15 years or so. And it's been tough. I've learned over the course of all of these years that addiction doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate color, class, gender, religion, lifestyle. Doesn't matter how healthy you eat, how kind of family you come from, how well you do in school, how popular you are. I've known drug addicts that come from every walk of life. And they're some of the coolest people I've ever met. And like I said, I've lost a lot of people that have died from drug overdoses, and I personally have overdosed more times than I can remember. And it's a scary thing. And I guess what I want all of you guys to do or to know, some of you guys out there who are watching this have to be personally affected by addiction. Either you yourself are struggling, maybe a family member, maybe a friend, maybe your neighbor. But again, what we want is just for conversation to be developed. Maybe start talking about addiction, start thinking about what you can do yourself on a personal level to better your own life, if you're struggling at all, or just to, again, create a conversation with somebody that may be struggling so that they can feel open to seeking a different way of living, maybe sprinkle a little bit of hope in their life. Because I have been struggling for a super long time with addiction and overdosed many times. I've been in treatment a lot of times, but I've learned that there is help out there if you don't have a supportive family. I'm really lucky to have a supportive family. My sister here, I trust her more than anybody. She knows me better than anybody. She's stuck by my side throughout this whole thing, and it's been crazy. It's been insane. And I'm really lucky to be living here and have, again, a very supportive family, a place to stay, a safe place to be. But not everybody has that. So I guess
that's hard.
Be kind to one another. I don't know, I wouldn't be here without the kindness of my family and my friends, and the love that I've received, and just the encouragement, because a lot of times I didn't, after struggling for so long with anything in mental health, addiction, whatever, any kind of struggle, you start to lose those seeds of hope that you're born with, and that light that's within you. It's smothered, and so just help each other stay lit up.
Yeah, I can remember like something that you would say is like you kind of forgot who you are, like who your person is. And you would say like, it's nice to hear like the things that you remember about me, or, you know, people in general, because those aren't things that I remember or associate myself with necessarily, you know.
Right. Which
I imagine it was cool when your friend Mindy had said to you, you're just like you used to be. You're probably surprised by that.
That
you know, like that's kind of a neat thing to hear, because
I was a kid then.
I think she meant it in a nice way, but
she did.
Yeah.
She did. And I thought it was sweet.
Yeah. I think one thing that is a very easy thing to associate with an addict, and I know I've felt this way myself before I was aware of Amy's addiction, was that addicts are gross. Just gross and dirty. Like, I can remember one instance where I was at a Homespun. It's like a little, like a place where, kind of like a CVS or a Walgreens. And I can remember this guy was in front of me, and he was checking out, and I saw well, at the time I saw like holes on his arm, and they were probably like, you know, needle marks, track marks. And I could tell he was out of it, and I just remember like looking at him, like not wanting to kind of go near him, and I thought he was gross. I can remember thinking this, and like now I look back and think about that and think that's not true at all. Like, you know, addicts aren't gross or dirty, or it's so funny. It's so weird that that's just something that most people think that's so untrue. They're all like totally normal people, whatever that means. But yeah, so it's hard not to be judgmental, definitely, especially if you've never experienced or know personally or have a tie to somebody who is an addict. But yeah, like you said, you really need to, or you don't need to, but it's important to try not to judge people in general, not just addicts, but you have no idea what somebody is going through mentally.
Right.
So
show some compassion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so Amy has never dyed yarn before.
Never.
She's never really even watched me.
I've watched, kind of.
You've come in and out.
Inadvertently, I've watched.
Yeah, yeah. So it will be fun.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, the colors of Overdose Awareness, you said, are...
Overdose Awareness color is purple. So there will be some purple in it.
Yeah.
I know. And I've been thinking about it, and like you said before, it's just probably something we'll do spur of the moment, like what we're feeling at the time. But got some ideas. We'll
probably have to listen to music, because
definitely
Amy listens to music every
got my
moment.
headphones on right here. I thought about wearing, like, listening during the podcast, but I thought that might be kind of hard to focus.
Every moment she's awake. You do, though. If you're talking with someone, she usually has one headphone in her ear.
I'll just turn it down, because it is kind of rude.
Yeah.
Can't.
Well, I don't know. I don't think.
It's it's therapeutic for me.
Yeah. Yes, I've definitely realized that.
Yeah,
that's a... So we'll be dyeing up that yarn sometime this week. And 50% of the proceeds will go towards, you thought...
with the amount of overdoses that occur, like I said, I go to 12-step meetings, and while I was going to those meetings a couple of years ago...
What is a 12-step meeting? For people who don't know.
Like AA or NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. There's also Cocaine Anonymous, Heroin Anonymous, and there are also like religious 12-step programs called Celebrate Recovery. Those are all 12-step meetings. They follow a series of steps, 12 steps that are supposed to work you through different areas of your life to kind of develop a solid foundation in your own personal life and keep you connected with other people. They say 12-step programs are not religious. They just help you find, like, develop some kind of spiritual understanding, because most addicts experience a disconnect, feel disconnected from the world around them. And for me, that was true. And I use 12-step meetings to stay grounded and stay connected with other people. So while I was going to those meetings and meeting tons of people were dying regularly. For a while there, it seemed like every week there was one person dying. I swear there were like 2 weeks where 3 of my friends died, and it was just crazy.
It's horrifying.
Yeah. Like I said, I've known,
especially because we're all connected to people. Yeah. Just recently.
Over the last few years.
Yeah. Well, you said just yesterday, you said 2 people
died this past week.
Were they your friends?
The people that I knew from meetings.
How old were they? Were they older or younger?
I mean, not old. Between I don't know their exact ages, but between 30 and 50. But, so we could donate some of the money toward funeral expenses, or something along those lines, directly to a family's.
Yeah.
You know what we could do too is donate the money to a clubhouse that hosts recovery meetings. Like we could find one in this area or whatever area that caters to young people, people new in recovery. We could find one that has like good solid recovery, and I could do some field work and find out where that place would be and donate the money to that place.
What would that go towards though? What would it
give
help them with?
Resources like books. It could fund like little outings that they have that get them out, get people like me or you even, whoever, out there doing things with other sober, clean people so that they can start to feel like they can have like a life.
Normal life.
Do things. You know, so there are things like that we could.
Exactly. Depending upon how much we raise towards this, it would be nice to, I mean, even give some to a couple different funeral people who are having funerals, or, you know, because like you were saying, it's completely unexpected. It's nothing that anybody planned for, or, you know, I mean, addicts are sick. They are sick. They have a disease, but you as a family member or friend, you're not thinking this person is going to die. You hopefully have hope for this person. So an overdose is, while they maybe are an addict and are using something like heroin, which is easy to overdose on, you aren't expecting them to overdose. It's
just
if you have hope. Exactly. So
because of me as an addict, like I know when I was using, the last time that I overdosed twice in the same day, once in the morning at a friend's house and once later. But so after the first time in the morning, the girl, she saved me by using Narcan, which you can get like at AIDS resource centers. You can pick it up for free after watching a training video, but she happened to have that and she used that on me and I woke up. So later on that day, I thought, okay, so I'm going to prevent my overdose. I'm going to control the amount of drugs that I do. And I overdosed again in the same day.
Which you said is not common, right?
No, it's very common.
Or is it? Okay.
Once you overdose, you become even more likely to overdose again. But that time, that was the last time I overdosed. And that was the scariest time I ever overdosed. But again, I tried to prevent it. You can't plan for an overdose. Like I was extremely careful. As careful as, you know, one can be while they're using IV heroin. But you just never know. But on that note, regarding overdoses, another thing is that with the amount of people that are using opiates and the amount of overdoses that occur, and a lot of these overdoses occur out in public, like in gas station bathrooms, stores in the bathrooms, out in parks on the benches, subway systems, bus stations, whatever. I've witnessed these things, and I know many other people that have. But carrying something like Narcan in your purse can save somebody's life.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have never.
And you can get that for free. You don't have to buy it. I almost always in the past
it's injectable though. What
you can get stuff that you breathe in under your nose.
Oh.
You just put it up under their nose, and they can breathe it in. But so if you want, you can go pick that up at AIDS resource centers in most cities. So it's an easy thing to do, and you can save somebody's life. It could be somebody's kid.
Definitely somebody's kid, somebody's parent, somebody's friend, somebody's.
So for Overdose Awareness Day, that's another thing to consider.
Definitely. We hope that you guys, that this will create some sort of conversations between you, or even bring awareness. Maybe you've noticed some different behavior in a friend, a family member. I think it's important when you notice something like that, that maybe you think somebody might be using something, you notice different behavior in the bathroom. to make sure that you talk, especially if you have a child, about it. Because I think the sooner that you create those conversations, it's more likely, I imagine, that they can be helped, that something can change for them. So don't be afraid to talk with your children or your friends.
Yeah, just talk to your loved one. Just bring it up, even if the person's angry or defensive.
Definitely, because they probably will be.
Yeah, definitely. If it's the first time it's been mentioned, especially.
Yeah.
Just bring it up, and if you have any questions, send them my way. Or
how would they do that?
Are
you open to answering questions? Because you could get a lot of questions.
I am open to answering questions.
Okay. If you're open to answering questions, write them in the comments. Maybe you can personally get in touch with Amy if she feels compelled to.
Sure.
And yeah, we hope that this made you guys or helped you guys think about some things, and maybe we'll have Amy on the episode in different ways if she starts dyeing yarn, and yeah, maybe even after we dye this yarn, she can talk about what music she listened to, or
yeah, that'd be cool.
What brought her inspiration when she dyed it and stuff like that. So
that's a good idea.
All right, you guys, it was nice chatting with you.
Thanks, guys.
And, yep, see you again soon.
Toodaloo.
Bye.